In our last episode, Miguel Santos wakes with a splitting headache and the unsettling sense that something is off. His girlfriend's sweater is in his apartment, but she doesn't remember visiting. Coworkers are forgetful, anxious. And when a news broadcast flickers, showing a riot no one else seems to recall, Migs starts questioning everything, especially the chip behind his ear. As cracks form in the city's flawless surface, he begins to wonder, is he losing his mind, or uncovering a truth everyone else has been forced to forget? This is the Night of Silence, where we explore what it means to live in a world where your memories are not your own, and where rebellion begins with remembering. I'm your guest narrator, Kate Clover.
Before we get on with the story, I want to tell you about our sponsor, the techno-thriller Demon Protocol. It is from author J.L. Spears, the same author that wrote this series. This story asks, what would happen if an advanced AI really wanted to take over the world? It wouldn't use killer robots and nuclear weapons. It would work in shadows, keeping its actions secret. And anyone who figured it out, like its creator Daniel Bennett, would sound like a conspiracy nut to anyone he asked to help him. Demon Protocol is released on audiobook, ebook, paperback, and hardcover. A link and discount code are in the description below. If you like these stories, please subscribe to this channel, drop a comment, and like this video. Now, on to the next installment of The Night of Silence. Episode 2, The Memory Discrepancy. Migs woke to the shrill of his alarm on Wednesday morning, the events of Tuesday night vivid in his mind. The broadcast glitch, the riot footage, his conversation with Bella that had spiraled into existential uncertainty. He grabbed his phone even before getting out of bed, needing to hear her voice, to confirm they'd shared the same disturbing experience. She answered on the third ring, sounding groggy. "Migs? Why are you calling so early?" "I couldn't sleep. Kept thinking about what we saw last night, that broadcast." "What broadcast?" Her confusion sounded genuine. "Migs, you're scaring me. What are you talking about?" The words died in his throat. The news. We watched it together after dinner. The glitch that showed the riots." Silence stretched between them. When Bella spoke again, her voice carried the careful tone she used with agitated patience. "We had dinner at Rossini's. Then I went home because I had early surgery. There was no broadcast, Migs. No riots. Are you sure you didn't have a nightmare?" "We talked about it for 2 hours, in my living room. You said the people looked angry, asked why they were angry." "I think you're confused. Maybe you dreamed it? Stress can cause very vivid dreams." Migs sat up, gripping the phone tighter. "Check your text. I must have mentioned it." He heard her moving, probably reaching for her own phone. "There is nothing here about any broadcast or riots. Just your usual goodnight message." A pause. "Migs, I'm worried about you. You've had these kinds of episodes before." "Episodes?" "The paranoid thoughts, the false memories. Maybe you should see Dr. Harrison like we discussed." They'd never discussed any Dr. Harrison. Migs was sure of that. Mostly sure. The certainty he'd felt upon waking was already beginning to fray at the edges. "I have to go," he said. I'll call you later." "Promise me you'll consider seeing someone? I love you too much to watch you struggle like this." After hanging up, Migs sat on the edge of his bed, trying to reconcile the vivid memory of last night with Bella's complete lack of recall. The conversation had happened. He could still feel the weight of her against his shoulder as they talked, could still see her pale face after the broadcast glitch. Unless it hadn't happened at all? He showered and dressed on autopilot, his mind churning. The morning routine felt like a life preserver in an ocean of uncertainty. Coffee mug in the right place today, no mysterious sweaters. Everything normal except for the man performing the normalcy. At work, Migs went straight to AJ's desk. His coworker was already deep in code, empty energy drink cans forming a small fortress around his workstation. AJ, I need to ask you something. Shoot. AJ didn't look up from his screen. What do you remember about our conversation yesterday? About the cricket match Monday? Now AJ did look up, forehead creased with confusion. Yesterday? I was here, wasn't I? God, this week's been a blur. These headaches are killing me. I can barely remember what I had for breakfast, let alone yesterday's conversations. No, you were here. You asked about the game, then froze mid-sentence. AJ laughed, but it sounded forced. I think you're mixing up your days, man. We didn't talk about cricket yesterday. Migs wanted to argue, to insist, but what was the point? AJ believed what he was saying. The certainty in his eyes was absolute. Either AJ was an exceptional liar, or one of them had lost a piece of reality. During his lunch break, Migs made his way to a park not far from his home and sat on a bench by the water. He needed air, space to think without the oppressive normalcy of the office pressing in on him. The park itself was a manicured oasis in the urban sprawl, designed to maximize relaxation and minimize actual nature. Even the birds singing in the trees were probably recordings. Although the climate in the city was hot and humid throughout the year, this particular spot always relaxed him by offering just enough shade and a cool breeze coming over the water, especially at this time of day. That's where Kai found him. Kai was 10 years old, all knobby knees and sharp elbows, and dressed in the awkward uniform of Exemplar Academy. He carried a sketch pad under one arm and had the intense, slightly unfocused look of a child who lived more in his imagination than the world around him. Uncle Migs! Kai smiled and waved as he approached. He was the grandson of his neighbor, Mrs. Rahman. Kai called him uncle as a sign of respect, just as Migs sometimes referred to Mrs. Rahman as Auntie Amina. Kai continued. I'm surprised you're here. Nanek said you work in the big tower downtown. I didn't think I'd see you here. Migs was confused for a moment until he remembered that Nanek was the word Kai used when he referred to his grandmother. Since you're here, I'm supposed to draw someone for art class. Someone with an interesting job. Can I draw you? Normally, Migs would have politely declined. He had work to do and a limited lunch break. He had his own problems, not the least of which was a possibly fragmenting psyche. But Kai has always shown himself to be a good kid, and something in the boy's earnest expression made him nod. Sure, I've got a few minutes. Kai's face lit up. He plopped down on the opposite bench and flipped open his sketchpad. Migs caught a glimpse of other drawings as the pages turned. Landscapes, animals, abstract swirls of color that seemed to move on the page. Then he saw it. A drawing of fire. Orange and red spiraling across the page in violent strokes, with dark shapes that might have been buildings or might have been people. It was the kind of thing a child might draw after seeing something they couldn't quite process. That's quite a drawing, Migs said carefully. What inspired it? Kai glanced down at the page, then back up at Migs with those two serious eyes. It's from the riot that happened on Monday. Nanek tells me that it's in my imagination, but I had to draw this. Sometimes she tells me that I imagine too much, so the feelings in the pictures help me know that I'm not imagining. Feelings in the pictures? Don't you mean memories? The boy tilted his head. What's the difference? It was such a simple question, but Migs found he didn't have a good answer. In theory, memories were concrete. Events that had happened, encoded in the brain for later recall. Feelings were ephemeral, subjective. But what if the memory was gone and only the feeling remained? What did you call the ghost of experience? I don't know, Migs admitted. But that drawing, did it really happen? Kai studied his own work as if seeing it for the first time. When I drew it, I smelled the smoke, and I heard people shouting. The drawing helps me remember that even if Nanek doesn't believe me. He looked up at Migs with sudden intensity. Do you ever have memories that nobody believes? The question hit Migs like a physical blow. Yes, actually yes, all the time lately. My parents say it's because I have an overactive imagination. They say when I get my chip next year, it will help me focus on what's real. You don't have a chip yet. Kai shook his head. Too young. You have to be 11. The brain has to be developed enough or something. He went back to sketching Migs, his hand moving in quick, confident strokes. But sometimes I wonder... Wonder what? If maybe the feelings are more real than what we remember? Like, what if we're all forgetting stuff and only the feelings stay behind to remind us? Out of the mouths of babes. Migs watched the boy draw, noting how he captured not just physical features but something deeper. The uncertainty in Migs' posture, the tension around his eyes. Kai, can I ask you something? What do you remember about the night you made your picture? Kai set down his pencil, forehead scrunched in concentration. My window faces the East District. I remember thinking the sunrise was coming too early. But it wasn't the sun. It was orange and moved wrong. His eyes widened. There were fires, weren't there? Big ones. And people in the streets. Lots and lots of people. Yes. The word came out as a whisper. What else do you remember? They were angry. I could tell even from my window. They were shouting about remembering something. My parents comforted me and made me feel safe. The next morning, I asked them if it was safe for me to go to school. They told me it didn't happen and I was dreaming, but it wasn't a dream. Dreams feel different. Your parents didn't remember it? They said they didn't, but Dad had a weird look on his face, like when he says we can't afford something, but I know he just doesn't want to buy it. Migs felt like he was standing on solid ground for the first time in 2 days. This child, unchipped and unconditioned, had seen what he'd seen, had retained what everyone else had lost. And last night, he pressed, did you see anything on the news? Kai nodded slowly. For just a second. Fire again. The same kind of angry people. But then it was gone and my mom said the TV was glitching. He picked up his pencil again, adding shadows to his portrait. She looked scared, though. She was nervous all night, but today it was like nothing happened. They sat in silence while Kai finished his drawing. When he was done, he tore the page out carefully and handed it to Migs. It was good, remarkably good for a child his age. But more than technical skill, it captured something true. A man on the edge of a revelation he wasn't sure he wanted to have. Thank you, Migs said. Uncle, Kai was packing up his supplies. What happens when everyone forgets something? Does it stop being real? I don't know. Me neither. But I think maybe that's why I draw things. So they can stay real even if I forget. He shouldered his backpack, looking older than his years. My teacher says I draw too much. Says I should focus on the real world. But what if the real world is the thing we're all forgetting? Before Migs could respond, a woman's voice cut across the park. Kai, there you are. Kai's mother approached with the brisk efficiency of someone perpetually running late. She had the same sharp features as her son, but none of his dreamlike quality. Her eyes were firmly fixed on the practical world. Migs, I'm sorry if he was bothering you, she said to Migs, though her tone suggested she was more annoyed than sorry. Not at all. He's a talented artist. Yes, well, talent is nice, but focus is better. She put a hand on Kai's shoulder, steering him away from the bench. Come on, your appointment was moved up. What appointment? Kai asked. Just a checkup, making sure you're developing properly. To Migs, she added, he's been having episodes, insisting things happen that clearly didn't. The doctors say it's normal for his age, but better safe than sorry. Episodes, Migs repeated, the same word Bella had used. Mom, I don't need a doctor, Kai protested. I feel fine. It's not about how you feel. It's about making sure you're ready for next year. The chip integration process works best when the mind is properly prepared. She was already walking away, pulling Kai along. The boy looked back at Migs, fear naked on his face. Not the shallow fear of a doctor's visit, but something deeper. The fear of losing something essential before you even understood what it was. I don't want to forget my dreams, he called out. His mother's reply drifted back. You won't forget anything important, sweetheart. The chip helps us remember what matters. And then they were gone, swallowed by the lunch hour crowd returning to their orderly lives. Migs sat alone on the bench, holding the portrait Kai had drawn. In the corner, almost too small to notice, the boy had sketched something else. A tiny figure standing apart from the larger portrait, arms outstretched as if trying to hold on to something slipping away. Or someone. The walk back to the office felt strange. Migs found himself noticing things. The spacing between pedestrians, the synchronized checking of phones, the similarity of expressions. Had it always been this way? At his desk, he pulled up the phone photos from 2 nights ago. Still there. The riots, the fires, his own terrified face. But according to his phone's location data, he had been home that night, asleep by 10:30. The contradiction made his head hurt. Migs? He spun around to find Sarah Kim, the department's project manager, standing by his cubicle. She wore her usual expression of friendly professionalism. Working on something? She asked. Just organizing photos. He locked the phone, slipping it into his pocket. Mr. Wei wants to see you. When you have a moment? Mr. Wei, senior management, the kind of person whose when you have a moment meant immediately. I'll head up now, Migs said. Sarah nodded. Oh, and Migs, the cybersecurity project review is at 2. Don't be late again. Again? You missed yesterday's stand-up and Monday's code review. Her brow furrowed. Are you feeling all right? Fine, just a lot on my mind. The executive floors occupied the upper third of Neuronix Tower. Migs had been there exactly 3 times in 6 years, each time for brief congratulations on completed projects. Mr. Wei's office was imposing in its minimalism. The man himself sat behind a pristine desk, reviewing something on his tablet. Miguel, please sit. Wei gestured to a chair. Thank you for coming up. Of course, sir. Wei set aside his tablet. I'll be direct. Your productivity metrics are concerning. Down 15% this week. Several missed meetings. Your team lead reports you seem distracted. I apologize, sir. I've been dealing with some personal issues. Personal issues affect professional performance. That affects the team, the department, the company. Wei's tone was neither harsh nor sympathetic, just factual. Neuronix invests heavily in our employees. We expect returns on that investment. I understand, sir. Do you? Because your recent performance suggests otherwise. Wei pulled up a holographic display of metrics and charts. 6 years of excellent work, Miguel. Don't throw that away because of, what do you call them? Personal issues? No, sir. I'll refocus. See that you do. Consider taking advantage of our wellness programs. Dr. Harrison in medical is excellent with stress management. Many employees find the optimization sessions helpful. I'll consider it. Wei studied him for a moment. That's all, Miguel. I trust we won't need another conversation like this. The meeting was over in less than 10 minutes. Just a standard performance warning, nothing sinister. But as Migs rode the elevator down, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The way Wei had emphasized optimization sessions, the specific mention of Dr. Harrison. Or maybe he was reading too much into everything. Maybe the stress was getting to him. His phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. If you want answers, check your left shoe. A friend. Migs stopped in the middle of the sidewalk. Left shoe. The message felt important, urgent even. But why would anyone... He ducked into an alley, pulled off his left shoe. Inside, wedged against the insole, was a small piece of paper. An address, nothing more. Someone was trying to tell him something. Or someone was playing games. Either way, Migs memorized the address and swallowed the paper, though he couldn't say why that felt like the right thing to do. As he emerged from the alley, he noticed how normal everything seemed. People going about their day, productive and content. Was he the only one who felt like the world had shifted slightly off its axis? But then he thought about Kai's drawings, about the riot photos on his phone, about Bella's complete lack of memory of their evening conversation. Maybe the question wasn't whether he was paranoid. Maybe the question was whether he was paranoid enough. What did you think of this episode? Drop a comment down below. I'm your guest narrator, Kate Clover, and you're watching episode 2 of The Night of Silence on Code and Consciousness. In our next episode, the cracks are widening. As one man searches for answers in a world that insists he's wrong, even those closest to him begin to pull away. But the truth is patient, and it never stays buried for long. Don't forget to like this video and hit subscribe to get alerts when the next video is available.